Hello, the year is 2014. I'm in the United States of America, or what's left of it. This video is not for people of my time. I'm leaving this for people in 2075, 2080. God knows what Orwellian nightmare you're living in. And I'm sure you're thinking back to the time where freedom actually existed here, why it was destroyed, why you have no remnant of it. I think I'd be curious to hear somebody from Europe before World War II and ask them basically the same question, but they didn't have the internet, they didn't have ways of communication. I've been very interested to hear the German people opinion after the Rockstack fire. I got a little bit of paralysis, so bear with me on that. But when the Enabling Act came into effect and Germany went from a progressive free nation to, well, you know what it became. I was born in 1952 in Ohio, and I was born to a gentleman who served in World War II, as most men did. He was a navigator on a B-25, and I think that generation might have been the greatest generation that this country's ever produced. I know my father and my mother were exemplary human beings. My father was the most honest, decent man I ever met. And I think I've seen that in a lot of the people in World War II generation. And they gave so much and sacrificed so much for an opportunity that was unprecedented in history. After World War II, we could have set a precedent for freedom and liberty and won the rest of the world over to our ideals by example, not by force. You would think, and my father said the same thing, that the whole world after World War II was tired of war. We almost obliterated ourselves off the planet, over 55 million dead. It's just a horrific madness, worldwide madness. And those people fought and died for what they believed was right. Now, of course, we believe that liberty and justice are things worth fighting and dying for. But how can anybody support the things that we're doing now? Go to Arlington and tell those folks about free speech zones. Tell them about urine tests and finger scans and biometrics and trap wire and echelon and cable splicer and garden plot and Agenda 21 and echelon and building storage facilities for information bigger than the Pentagon in Utah. I don't think they would understand a word of it. The RFID chips everywhere. You got a camera staring in your face, recording everything you do, everything you say. This is an Orwellian nightmare now. I couldn't imagine what it's like for you people in 2075, 2080. I just couldn't imagine it. Maybe I don't want to imagine what it is. But even here in 2014, it's gotten so bad you can't even get on an airplane without a colonoscopy. Okay? You have a better chance today of being killed by the police than a terrorist. Since 9/11, and I'm sure 100, you still have heard about this. The chances I think the police have killed 5,000 citizens. Iraqi insurgents, terrorists have killed 3,000 and counting. So when you have a better chance of being killed by the police than a terrorist, and the police, like I said, I was born in 1952 when America was really an unbelievable place, unbelievable. And when I was raised, I didn't have any problems with the police. Matter of fact, I was glad they was there. I mean, when some crazy person shows up at your house with an axe in his hand, what are you going to do, call your friend Bob? Okay? So who's going to show up and help you out? That's the police. But now the police look like they're ready to invade Poland. They have become militarized. There's like a cross deposit. They're almost like military. They look like military. Now, I'm trying to express my opinion as best I can. I'm not reading off any piece of paper or whatever. I don't understand that either. Every time you hear someone and trying to voice their opinion or make a statement of any kind, you got to be reading off some kind of piece of paper. Okay? I don't think you need to be reading off some piece of paper. I don't know. I feel like I should apologize to you folks. Like I said, this is not for people of my time. This is for you folks in 2075, 2080. Today, I don't even recognize this country. What it does, its ideals. It's got to be probably the largest criminal organization. The whole world's a criminal organization when you think about it. We incarcerate over 1 million people. These ridiculous drug laws. Now, there's a good example. Anybody with half a brain would realize that, I think it was our President Carter, maybe, said that the punishment for using drugs should not be worse than the drugs use itself. But when you think about it, everything is about making money. If you, I don't know, hopefully you people are not fighting a drug war, 60 years in the future. I would hate to think that, or it might even be worse. But anyway, when you think about destroying people's lives over a substance abuse, why would you do that? Well, you do it to make money, of course. Because every time you arrest somebody, you feed the court system, the bailiff, the stenographer, the judge, the bailiff, the cops, the jailers, the people who serve the food, that sell you the paddy wagons. I believe I heard somewhere that if you were to make drugs legal, you'd empty about half the prisons, and you can't do that because there's whole communities that rely on the incarceration of their fellow human beings for a living. There's an old saying, it's hard to get a man to internalize a concept because once he learns that concept, he loses his livelihood. Money is a huge motivator. Matter of fact, in our society today, if you don't have $1, you can go out in the street and starve to death. The government will give Raytheon and Boeing and all these people gazillions of dollars to kill people, because that's what we do. We kill people. We're not very good at teaching our kids. I think we're something like 27th in math, 22nd in science. I was trying to remember all the figures. They're quite disappointing. Can't remember them all, but we're losing the children as far as educating them. I mean, in my community, if you talk to people and you ask them about the loss of, well, for example, go up to them and say, do you know that the Patriot Act, which, yeah, what a name for that, it ought to be the goose stepping off the cliff act, was actually modeled after Russia's, Russia had an act, the Law Act or something of that nature, which was the Gulag system. Now, this is a great thing to model something for the United States. A lot of people believe that it was modeled after the Reichstag fire in Germany, and it was called the Enabling Act, which, like I said, reduced Germany to that nightmare. So, as a boomer, as they call me, because I was born after World War II, I just can't believe what I've seen in one lifetime. There is no freedom left in this country. You're free to do what they tell you to do. I got a ticket the other day. I missed the transition on a red line, and there was a camera taking, my license plate number, sending me an invoice for $50, which if I didn't pay, of course, the sky will fall, and etc. How can you be free? How can you have liberty? Matter of fact, when I told people that I was going to make a video of this nature, they said, boy, don't do that, man. You'll get on some watch list. Somebody will come out and put a black bag over your head, and you'll end up with Gitmo learning Arabic. And I said, the hell with that. I'm almost 63 years old. My health could be better. So it's not like I'm in my 20s, okay? But there's something so wrong. And what you know, I could go on about 9/11 and the investigation into that, but you don't need me for that. There are people a lot more knowledgeable, a lot more hours in investigation of that incident. There's a documentary, I don't know if you can still get it, it's called Loose Change, and many documentaries that will show the fallacy in the official documents of the official story of 9/11, which I don't believe, never have believed. But to go into all that, you don't need me for that. You don't need me to talk about the Federal Reserve and what a bunch of gangsters these guys are, turning us into a bunch of wage slaves. We pay taxes, income taxes, but there's no law that says we need to do that. But Aaron Schiffler, a gentleman who wrote The Federal Mafia, the poster boy on this movement, he's in the penitentiary, I hear. So, it doesn't make any difference if it's lawful or not. And the thing I don't understand is how we as a people in this country have allowed this to continue. It's not like the people in Germany, they didn't have internet. They didn't have ways to do individual investigation as we do. We can find out a lot of things. I don't watch TV, haven't watched it in years, I don't like TV. But I love the internet because you can pinpoint what you're trying to investigate and weigh and figure out what your opinion is, instead of your opinion being manufactured by the government. And it's a shame. I'm looking at a picture of my father in front of a B-17 bomber. It's written up on the wall here, and I wonder what my father would say if he's seen the state of affairs in this country today. There's 207 sovereign nations in this country, and we have over 150 military bases. Someone said that they had an embassy over in Iraq and Baghdad somewhere. It was worth $1 billion. I mean, this can't last. Who knows? Maybe the United States doesn't even exist as it did when this video was taken. I haven't been dead a long time. You're talking to a dead man. Okay? It's 2014. I'm 63. If I'm alive in 2080, I'll be surprised. Okay? I'll probably be gone long before then. But I wanted to leave something behind just for you folks, because I'd be curious. If you're sitting there with an RFID chip in your hand, there's no cash, everything is swipe your hand over the magic wand. Everything you do, you're under total surveillance now. I couldn't imagine. Who knows? Maybe you have George Orwell's screen in your house that you can't turn off. Maybe you had become Winston Smith. I don't know. But I just wanted to make a series of videos, not all with me, of course, but to augment some of the fine work that's already been done. If you really want to hunt, maybe you can find them. Like I said, they might even be banned at the time of your seeing this. But there was a gentleman named Aaron Russo, had Freedom to Fascism, wonderful documentary. There was a gentleman named Alex Jones. Do I believe everything he says? No, but I believe his heart's in the right place. There are so many people out there. Naomi Wolf, good-looking woman, talks about the 10 steps to closing down a free society. And every one of those are in play today. Every single one of them. Okay? So I'll make more of these, but I just wanted to start off knowing that my intention is not really talk to my contemporaries, but to talk to the people in the future, hoping that somehow this might survive to the point that you can see a face of the past. I wish you all best of luck. Talk to you soon.